Chapter 1. Forbidden Secrets. The Lunaris Library loomed over the city like a sentinel from another time, its towering spires cutting into the evening sky. Ava sighed as she stacked a final pile of books onto her cart, the familiar smell of aged paper and dust settling into her senses. It was the end of another quiet shift, but Marisol's words earlier had lodged themselves in her mind, refusing to leave. "You've heard the rumors, right?" Marisol had whispered, her eyes darting around as if the walls themselves were listening. Strange things happening in the restricted section. Lights, sounds. Ava had laughed it off then, brushing aside her friend's conspiratorial tone. But now, alone in the quiet of the library, her curiosity burned. The restricted archives were off limits to nearly everyone, their contents shrouded in mystery and guarded by Eleanor, the formidable head archivist. As Ava pushed her cart toward the main desk, her gaze drifted, almost unconsciously, to the iron-gated doorway that led to the restricted section. The air around it seemed different, heavier somehow, as if the room beyond held its breath. Before she could look away, a shadow moved in the corner of her vision. "Ava!" She jumped, spinning to see Eleanor standing behind her, arms crossed, an expression unreadable. The older woman's eyes seemed to pierce right through her. "I was just finishing up," Ava said quickly, straightening her posture. Eleanor's gaze flicked toward the gated door and back to Ava. "Curiosity is dangerous in this place," she said, her voice low and measured. "Some knowledge is best left untouched." Ava nodded, though her heart raced. Eleanor's cryptic warnings always carried weight, but this one felt personal. As the archivist turned and walked away, her footsteps echoing in the cavernous room, Ava hesitated. Then, as if pulled by an invisible string, she stepped closer to the iron gate. The air grew cooler as she approached. Dust motes floated in the faint beam of moonlight filtering through the high windows. Her fingers brushed the cold iron, and for a moment she thought she heard a faint whisper, so soft it could have been the wind. She should turn back. Eleanor's words echoed in her mind, but something deeper called to her, a need to know. Slipping through the gate, which inexplicably swung open with a creak, Ava found herself in a corridor lined with towering shelves. Unlike the rest of the library, this section felt alive. The air carried a faint metallic tang, and the silence wasn't empty but full of something, an anticipation that prickled at her skin. Her eyes fell on a pedestal at the end of the aisle, illuminated by a single beam of light. Resting atop it was a book, its leather cover adorned with intricate silver glyphs that seemed to shimmer and shift as she approached. The symbol of a wolf, majestic and haunting, was embossed in the center. "What are you?" she murmured, her fingers hovering over the cover. The glyphs pulsed faintly, as if responding to her voice. A strange warmth spread through her hand, pulling her closer. The moment her fingers made contact, the whispers grew louder, coalescing into a voice she couldn't understand, but felt compelled to follow. The glyphs shifted under her touch, and before she could think to stop, the words flowed unbidden from her lips, ancient and unfamiliar. The room shuddered. A soft silver light enveloped her, and the air thickened, pressing down on her chest. She tried to pull away, but her hands wouldn't move. The book seemed to cling to her, its energy coursing through her veins like fire and ice. When the light finally faded, Ava staggered back, clutching the book to her chest. The whispers had stopped, leaving an eerie silence in their wake. But the stillness didn't last. From deep within the library, an otherworldly howl echoed, low and mournful, sending a chill down her spine. It was unlike any sound she'd ever heard, ancient and wild, filled with a longing that resonated in her very bones. Ava stumbled out of the restricted section, her breath coming in short, panicked gasps. She glanced back at the iron gate, now closed as if it had never been opened. "What have I done?" she whispered, the book's weight heavy in her arms as she fled into the shadows of the library.